Hey everybody, this is Mr. Moppet coming at you with another APUSH video. Today we're taking a look at topic 7.2, focusing in on debates surrounding American imperialism. And, when we start to venture into this realm of imperialism in America's history, an important question we have to, reflect upon as we're learning is, why did the United States feel the need to become an imperialist country? Why did we feel the need to be in the club, so to speak, with the other imperialist powers at that time? And note, in many respects, this is an elite club that in the late 1800s, if you wanted to be seen as an elite country, a powerful country, you had to be an imperialist power, meaning that you had to try to create a global empire with colonies that you develop as a result of conquering peoples around the globe. The British had been doing this. The French had been doing this. Germany had been in the mix a little bit. Japan had been in the mix a little bit. So in other words, if the United States wanted to be seen as not, a second tier nation, but an elite first tier nation, they got to get in the imperialist business for sure. Now, of course, it's a deeper, set of reasons than that, but that's certainly going to get America, kind of moving in that direction for sure. So with that being said, let's take a look at, some of these specific reasons why the U.S. is going to be desirous of becoming an imperialist power. And one of those reasons, probably not a big surprise, economics. The United States has already become this growing industrial force, in the Western Hemisphere. And the idea being is, let's broaden this. Let's spread out to the rest of the globe. And imperialism, is really a great way to expand the U.S.'s GDP. For example, you can find access to more raw materials the larger your global empire is, be it pineapples in Hawaii or rubber in the Philippines or tobacco or sugar in in Cuba. That's going to be available to you. So that's certainly going to be something that you want to do. Furthermore, the more that you are engaged in imperialism, the more that you're going to have a broader market for American-made products. So, you're going to, if you were to conquer, a territory and make it a colony, you've now got a larger built-in commercial base to buy those products. So there's certainly going to be tremendous economic reasons to get into the imperialism game. But that's not going to be, entirely it. Understand that the United States, certainly as we were addressing a moment ago, wants to be viewed as an elite military power. And you have to be in imperialism to have that mindset. Now, as we get into the late 1800s, one of the more influential works is going to be Alfred T. Mahan's influence of sea power on history through the late 17th and into the 18th centuries. And one of the main arguments that Mahan makes is that if you look at the history of the world, the greatest powers have had, successful navies. And so with that being understood, if the United States wants to be, considered elite, it's got to build up its navy. It's got to have an elite navy. And you got to have a global empire that spans across oceans to necessitate that, powerful navy. And these desires are going to lead to the United States having far-flung colonies all over the eastern and western hemispheres, into parts of the western Atlantic, in as far as the western Pacific. And naval bases will be created in these locations. And note, by the time we do get to 1900, the United States is going to have one of the most powerful navies on Earth. So the United States is certainly going to be all in on this idea of a powerful navy, no question about it. But you also have to understand that there are going to be cultural reasons for this. There's going to be a sense that, in this time period where, once again, unfortunately, there is a sense of eugenics, pseudoscience that's talking about this idea of a hierarchy of races and ethnicities, and that those from a waspish, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant perspective is superior to others that are of color. The idea being is that, and once again, this is going to come from more of a, what you might call like a missionary mindset. The idea being that, if Americans who are predominantly waspish at this time, if they are the superior people, then they have a responsibility to share their culture, to share their knowledge, to share their gifts with what they would consider to be inferior peoples around the globe. And so there's this, once again, we call this the white man's burden. Kipling's going to be coining the term, but it's obviously it's a very racist attitude that's going to be driving this sense of, oh, we have to spread white American culture to folks around the globe. They have to be introduced to Christianity, particularly Protestant Christianity. They need to be introduced to modern capitalism, Victorian style dress and attire, and total ignorance, or excuse me, not ignorance, well, yes, to some degree ignorance, but total disregard for valuing native traditions, native cultures in places around the globe. So you're going to see this, with almost, once again, almost like missionary type zeal, a desire to spread America's cultural values around the globe. So understand that, the United States is going to be driven in many respects to want to have, this global empire driven by the idea of, more money, more military power, more cultural influence around the globe. No question about it. So anyhow, with that being, understood, we're going to probably leave it there for the moment. Oh, wait, hold on. There is one more thing I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. There's another component that is also kind of driving this, and that, as we mentioned previously, by the time we get to the end of the 19th century, we talked about, Turner's thesis that, the frontier is now over by the time we get to the late 1800s. And with that being understood, once again, it kind of puts America in an existential crisis to some degree in terms of, well, what is America without a frontier? What is America without this next new, wild, rugged place that, can be settled and, and whatnot? And imperialism fits that need, all right? It provides a way to fill that need. Granted, that frontier is no longer, in continental North America for the most part, but still, though, the idea that you could go to Cuba or Puerto Rico or the Philippines or Hawaii, and there's new places out there to go to once again start over, make a new name for yourself. That's certainly going to be culturally driving some of this for sure, no question about it. All right, so anyhow, we'll leave it there for now. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.